Namaskar. Hope all of you are in the best of spirits given the pandemic by which we are surrounded. But I would like to thank at the outset Dr. Chinmay Pandya for giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you. I am told that you are young aspirants who are looking forward to joining and clearing this civil services examination, which is the most prestigious job a youngster can think of. Now, this is a very, very, very challenging job profile because the kind of variety of assignments, it lets you undertake and the direct impact it has on the lives of many. As a civil servant, you touch the lives of many without knowing that you have touched their lives and made a difference in their lives. And also, the good side is that the Government of India gives you a very comfortable lifestyle. You get good salary and you can take good care of your family. And the government has done this with the aim that the civil servants can give their best while serving the nation. And that is the reason that we are also provided with certain creature comforts and a decent salary. Now, so no doubt, civil services is one of the exams which all of us, the youngsters, they want to crack this exam. And also the fact that it is the toughest exam to crack because the government is giving you a lot of perks only to ensure that you serve the nation. So I am told that around 12 lakh students apply for this exam annually and 6 to 7 lakhs take it. Out of those, a few thousand get selected. Now, what is it that separates these few hundreds or few thousand from the rest of the lakhs? So what is it that separates the wheat from the chaff? A question which arises normally and naturally in an aspirant's mind is that what should I do to clear this exam? And especially now given the COVID situation, how do I perform? How do I come out with flying colors and join the services? Now, I don't need to tell you that the key to success is discipline, hard work and inner motivation. I talk about inner motivation because, if you think that I want to clear civil services only because I like the fact that the officer moves around in the car, or I like the fact that they live in big bungalows, or the robe, which they carry. Believe me, this is something which is very transient. You would get this in any kind of a good corporate job also. So your motivation has to be intrinsic. It should come out of the fact that it is something which you truly believe in, and you would want it to basically it should be more than just living a comfortable life. Because once you get that comfortable life, would you be motivated enough to take this exam? So, and you need to be constantly motivated. Why do I need this? You have to ask yourself the question that why do I need to be constantly motivated? For the simple reason that this is a very arduous exam. It takes 1 full year, the cycle completes, you have 3 stages, and then if you clear the exam in your first go, I would say that you're blessed, but many a times, most of the times you are taking the attempt again and again. So it is a very tough journey and it is a long process with no guarantee of success. So only if the motivation comes from within that you will be able to carry on preparing for this exam. Now, another thing which you need to keep in mind is also this, that when you're preparing for this exam, you cannot stay motivated forever. There would be moments when you would be frustrated. You would want to give up everything. That is the time when you will have to search for that, for that feeling inside which will let you move forward and will let you focus on your aim, and which will assuage the doubt. Can I clear the exams or can I not? If you ask me that question, I would say, yes, you can. You can. So believe in yourself, but do not be overconfident, as this exam is a great leveler. There would be people study hard for it. Everybody studies hard. You would see, I have seen it personally, that one of my colleagues who was an excellent student was not able to clear it. whereas there were some who were very average, but because of their discipline, because of their hard work, because of their time management, because of the way they were motivated, the way they planned their studies out, they were able to crack this exam. Now, how do you go about preparing for it? The next question which comes automatically, say, I don't need to tell you this, that the key to success is discipline, hard work and inner motivation. If you are motivated, you will be able to do it. I'm again repeating it. The purpose of repeating it is that you get it drilled in your head. So, and one other thing important is that how do you go about preparing for this exam? When you seek guidance, you need to know that what is right for you and what is wrong for you. Now, in this tech savvy world, internet is available to all of us. I googled just to check that how many students take this exam every year and what is the latest trend in the exam pattern and things like this, and I was bombarded with information. So how do you decide that what is correct and what is the information which is right? So the key is basically you go about finding out which resources to use, and it is also important that you should not get confused by the excess information that you end up accumulating. The idea basically is that you should have a plan with set milestones and which should ultimately lead to the goal which you want to achieve. After all, whole is a sum of its parts. So the way you prepare, the way you manage your time and the way you decide as to how I go about taking this exam makes a lot of a difference. Now, first of all, we need to, coming back to how, what this civil services examination is about. All of you know that it is conducted by Union Public Service Commission. It gives you entry into the prestigious service IAS, IPS and IFS, which is Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service and Indian Forest Service. It is conducted annually and it is divided into two services, Group A and Group B, and apart from the 3 All India services, there are 18 other services which are a part of Group A. The exam pattern, most of you are aware of. There is stage 1 which is the preliminary exam, there is stage 2 which is the mains exam, and there is the stage 3 which is the UPSC personality test, the interview. Now the stage 1 is basically prelims, which was commonly known as prelims. It has a general studies paper and it has a CSAT paper. Now it is a screening test to allow the students to basically select the students for the next stage. Now there is negative marking in this prelims, wherein the negative marking for the negative, if you do a wrong answer, 1/3 of your allotted marks would be cut. That is, if the question is for 1 mark, 0.66, and you've done it wrong, 0.66 will be deducted. Then the GS2 paper or the CSAT paper is basically qualifying nature, and the candidate should score a minimum of 33% in this paper to qualify for the next stage, that is the mains examination. The second stage is the mains examination, which is of a descriptive nature. It has 9 papers in it. Paper A is Indian language, which is qualifying. Paper 2 is English, which is again qualifying. Paper 1 is essay. Now there are 2 essays which you have to write given the time period. Now paper 2 to paper 4 are basically general studies, in which the last paper is ethics, integrity and aptitude, which has been introduced in the past 5 years, I think. And lastly, 2 papers on subjects selected by the candidate. And it is only one optional subject which you have to prepare for. And ultimately the personality test. Now stage 3, the personality, once you clear the mains, then you go for stage 3, which is the interview. Interview is basically the final round, and only those candidates who manage to clear the mains cutoff basically they move forward to the interview stage, wherein your mental alertness, your balanced judgment, your intellect and your moral integrity, etc. are tested. Now this was basically the 3 stages in which you clear the exams. I think the prelims this year is supposed to be on the 27th June. Now coming back to the fact that what is the basic strategy which you need to adopt for civil services examination. Number 1 and the most important is that please don't separate prelims and mains. That first let me study for my prelims, once I clear it, then I'll start studying for my mains. No. It has to be an integrated approach. If you prepare for your mains, you would automatically be able to clear your prelims. So your approach has to be integrated, and you have to. And number two, you should know the syllabus very well as to what comes in the general studies paper, what comes in the optional paper, and you should see the previous year question papers. Once you know the syllabus very well, then the next focus should be on the kind of resources which you should use to study. Now, for resources, I would like to emphasize that you should go for credible resources. Credible resources such as Press Information Bureau, the Hindu, Yojana, India Economic Survey, India Yearbook, Economic Survey, the websites of the various ministries which will update you with the latest which is happening in the government sector, and also you should read the newspaper regularly. By reading the newspaper, I mean to say that you should be aware of what is happening not only in your own nation, what is happening worldwide, and how is it interlinked. Again, for current affairs, another approach I would say, not for current affairs itself, but even when you are answering any question, is that you should always link it to polity, economy, society and technology. I would give you the formula called PEST. Okay, it is very simple, that whatever you are writing, you should relate it to the polity of the country or the general political scenario, wherever whichever country it concerns. The economy, if it is impacting the economy, if that decision, maybe we talk about that the BRICS have come together. So if the BRICS nations have come together, so how does it impact the polity? How does it impact the economy? How does it impact the society as a whole? And technologically, how does it help us? So you have to keep all of that in your mind. Now, for the IS exam, current affairs basically comprises of the last 10 to 12 months events of national and international importance. Now, another thing you need to do is that you need to focus on NCERT books. They should be the basis of your preparation, and you'll have to, ensure that you read them thoroughly. It is up to you whether you want to make notes separately or you want to use the books itself. Another thing for optional, there are certain optionals for which the IGNOU, apart from NCERT, you can use the IGNOU booklets also, which are very, very informative. Like my optional was history, although and psychology, I gave the exam quite some time back, but I relied on NCERT, on IGNOU material, and Bipin Chandra for modern history, Satish Chandra for medieval history, and Romila Thapar and D.N. Jha for ancient history. So I did not go beyond these books for history, and for psychology, I took help of the notes. At that time, I remember it was Mr. Mukul Pathak who used to teach psychology very well. So I just stuck to his basic notes, and there was a book in psychology which was followed in graduation by the Delhi University. So these were the two things that I stuck myself to. When it came to studying, there were times, when I would go out, meet with people were discussing a lot of things that this came in this particular book, and I had not read it. I never let myself get flustered due to that, because you should see the syllabus, and you should know that okay, this is a part, this is there in the syllabus. I am able to answer it through these many books. Reading a lot will not get you where you want to reach. It is basically assimilating that knowledge and assimilating the right knowledge and delivering it at the time of the examination. Now, after the general studies, for general studies, your awareness needs to be good. You need to be keeping your eyes and ears open, what is happening around you in the world. And finally, then you have to also select your optional. Your optional, I would say, should always be chosen on the basis of your interest, aptitude and experience. You should never go by the reason that, पिछले 5 साल से इसमें बहुत अच्छे नंबर आ रहे हैं, तो I should take this optional. Because the thing is that, as I said earlier, that this is a long process. you would have to be interested in that subject to study it over and over again. If you have to take the exam 3 years in a row, would you be prepared to read the same subject 3 times in a row? Like, I would give you my example. I chose philosophy as one of my subjects, but I realized that I did not enjoy reading it. So I left it and I shifted to psychology, and I enjoyed psychology because I had it in my class 11th and 12th. I had read psychology, and then again when I picked it up for my civil services, I really, I connected with it. And whenever I was preparing and reading it again, it never bored me. So you have to understand that you should pick up a subject in which you have interest. Then for the simple reason that the syllabus is very, very vast. So pick up only the subject which you are interested in, something which you can read again and again, and you will not be bored out of it. Then there are standard books for each subject. Please go through those standard books instead of running haywire and selecting, just going by word of mouth that read this book or read that book. No, whatever is there, you can always check out that what are the books which are being, followed in Delhi University. You can check those books out for graduation, because the minimum criteria is graduation for clearing this exam. So you can check out that which are the standard books which are being followed in Delhi University. Then another thing which is important while preparing for this exam is that you should always try to manage your time. Okay, this is very important. I'm trying to tell you this time management not only from the perspective of before the exam, also from the point of view of when you're writing the exam, because it happens that we prepare very well but we are not able to deliver it. Those 3 hours which are the most important for us, during those 3 hours we are not able to pen down our thoughts because we know so much and we did not practice. So please take attempt mock tests for both prelims as well as mains, so that you have an idea as to how much you can write and how well you can write given the pressure conditions. Then last but not the least, I would like to tell you is that please revise multiple times, update your notes, then revise again. There's a tendency that we have studied in the class, the teacher has explained us very well, mujhe to sab aata hai, I have understood everything, and now it doesn't matter, it's gone in my brain and it's there. It doesn't happen like that. If you will not revise, you will forget it and you will not be able to pen it down. So what is important is that you have a schedule, you follow it, and you end up revising whatever you have read. After a week, maybe you can fix a day if it suits you that Sunday is for revision. What I personally used to do, that the whole day I would study, next day in the morning I would revise what I had studied the last day. So that way, it was a continuous process for me, but to each as it suits. And I would also like to say this, that when you are studying, it is not, if somebody comes and tells you that please, I used to study for 12 hours and 14 hours, you need to study so much. It is not humanly possible to study for 12 or 14 hours a day, So what is important is that you study. Whenever you are studying, your focus and your attention should be towards the studies itself. Like, put in 5 hours, but those 5 hours should be quality hours. It is not the quantity that matters, it is the quality that matters. And also it is very difficult to stick to schedules. Very, very difficult. You get bored. There are times when you just want to give up, you are frustrated, but it is in those times that you have to again pick up and move ahead. And also, studying for civil services does not mean that you give up on everything, but yes, it means regulated enjoyment, in the sense that if you like watching videos or you like watching movies, you cannot continue you take a break and you think that okay, I'll just watch this video or I'll watch this movie, and you continue watching and you end up spending 3 or 4 hours on that itself. You cannot afford to do that, and you cannot be careless like that, because it will put you way behind. Then your schedule will end up getting spoiled, and you will not be able to finish things on time. And as I had reiterated earlier, that you have to set up small targets for yourself with a milestone, and then achieve your goal. And only if you, it's a journey of 1,000 steps, begins 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So those steps are very important as to how you take it and how you move forward. Just remember the time when you studied for your 12th examinations, or when you studied for any important exam to crack through. You did decide, your teachers did tell you that go about studying like this, these are the important chapters, this is what you need to read in it, this is, and you underline them, you make notes. So it's the same thing, just at a bigger level. And the ultimate my advice to you would be that please manage your time properly. Please read, analyze, study hard, and revise, and be aware of what is happening around you, and revise and revise. And ultimately, my last advice to you would be that if you get through, nothing like it. If you don't give up. Just try until you succeed. Because even if you fall, you'll fall amongst the stars. Thank you.